one person has a higher sex drive than the other, do we compromise? Do it 2 times a week or 4? I love this question. Like,
take it.
Should they do it 2 or 4?
No.
I'm not going to tell you how many times of sex a week. I want to know, my first thought, I have so many things to say on this. Why is the other person not interested in intimacy? Because sex is fantastic. Sex is what makes this world go around. That's why we have all these people. Like, it's not,
it's a big part of life.
finding.
It's not what makes the world go round. But
Okay. This is true
it's a
according
big part.
to Saxony, apparently.
You can tell who has the sex drive in this relationship. Carry on.
There you go. But truly, I think that this is just a symptom of something else.
Right.
So if your partner has a low sex drive, let's play discovery game. Maybe why? Is it hormonal? That's very easy fix. Like mild, amounts of testosterone for women changes their sex drive dramatically. Like, have that shit looked at. Is it a safety thing? Is it a comfortability thing? Is it a confidence thing? Is it, is there trauma behind it? Like, as a partner, the best thing you can do is help them discover maybe why. Because low sex drive is not, I don't think anybody wins. That person's not winning because getting laid is great. So 2 to 4 times, I would say that's just an outcome. Let's go to the source.
Right.
Let's figure out what the problem is. And maybe it's like, there literally is a million reasons why a person doesn't want to have sex. And so instead of compromising and okay, I agree to have sex with you 4 times a week. Dude, that's not going to be a fun lay.
It's not a number.
It's not
It's
fun.
not. No, but here's a question then. I'll ask you a follow-up question to that.
Sure.
I truly believe that most people like sex. Okay? Now, if we're being really honest about this, I think regardless of who you are, or your religion, whatever, the actual act of sex should be liked and appreciated by everybody, right? Yeah. Now, if you have this is where we're going on this. Is some people are like, fuck that, I hate sex or whatever. There's a reason for that. What I'm getting at is Sex at Dawn, the book, phenomenal book. In our DNA as human beings, we are programmed for sex, okay? I'm not going to go off on all of that. The moral of the story is that men and women in our DNA, we enjoy sex. Sex is part of our nature. It's part of our experience. It's part of our connection. It's part of our, radiation of our energy, the entire thing. So I truly believe that anybody that has any of these types of situations where one has a higher sex drive than the other, or my partner doesn't like sex or whatever, there's deeply rooted things that are far bigger than just sex. Because the actual act of sex is enjoyed by both people most of the time. And again, if a man is saying no, well, there's a reason for that. If a woman is saying no, there's a reason for that. Is it possible your partner completely fucking sucks? Possibly. There's a lot to fucking learn about sex, right? Most people did not grow up being taught about it, being taught different positions and crazy shit, and being open and free and being in a position in their home or their church or whatever. They talked about it, which is understandable. Just like anything else, it's something that needs to be learned, and you need to explore things, and you need to have conversation around it. But I truly believe that when that question comes up, it's that whoever that person is that quote unquote doesn't want it as much or isn't there, I truly believe that they do, but there's something blocking them, whether it's they hate the actual act because they haven't communicated and they don't know, or they just have such a negative connotation around it, or they hate their body and they don't want to get naked, or they hate their partner's body and they don't want to get naked and don't want to talk about it. It never, in my opinion, is actually about the act of sex. And so I truly believe that if you're in a position where there is that friction, there is that resistance, it's not about the actual act of sex. It's something bigger and something deeper. And so if you're sitting in that position, then have a conversation with your significant other. Yeah. That's one of the things I appreciate about, our sex life is we're really fucking open about things. And most of my life I wasn't. I mean, truly, I wasn't. And, you know, guys, we beat our chest and, you know, the whole alpha game and whatever. But the reality is most men don't know jack shit about sex, right? Nor are we're like giddy little kids. No, boobies. Oh, there's a vagina. Ah. But when you really think about it, like, you know, it's pretty gangster to be able to appreciate your sex life as much as you appreciate your six pack or your bank account or your, you know, ability to read a book or whatever, to invest in that skill set and it is a skill set to learn not only how to communicate, but to put the ego down and to talk about certain things and to be open to certain things is really, really, really powerful. And I truly believe that most women want that. A lot of guys have this misconception. Since we're talking about sex, let's go down this rabbit hole for a second. There's this misconception, especially in a religious culture, that if I start talking about doing kinky shit, wild shit, that my woman is going to think that I'm a sex pervert, that I'm an addict, that I'm looking at porn. And that might not be the case at all.
Yeah.
I just might be too big of a pussy to say it. But the truth is that actually would connect us. That might be a turn on. That might be something that you're interested in, right? And so I truly believe that most couples are not talking about sex enough.
Yeah.
We're not getting rowdy enough. We're not talking about our dreams and our fantasies and our desires. And I truly believe that if you're in a good relationship, whether it's monogamous, however you define that, but you're in a good, trusting relationship, you know, I can say whatever I want to say to you and you're not going to judge me. You're not going to be like, oh, well, you're this, that, or the other. Most of the time, it's exactly what you're doing right now. Smiling because you're like, oh, okay. You want to do what?
Like,
You want to put a fucking jungle gym in the bedroom? Okay, well, let's, you know, what are the dimensions of said
figure
jungle
out where
gym?
the studs
You know
are.
what I mean? But I think that, I mean, this is a big conversation for a reason, because the number one and number two leading causes of divorce is sex and money. And I think we need to be talking about sex more. We need to be having sex more. We need to be exploring more in our own relationships this act, this connection, this tool, this resource, because, you know, you and I both know that there's not a whole lot that sex can't help. You could be having the worst day. Sex changes the course of the day. We could be completely disconnected and arguing and not getting along or whatever. Yeah, we've been real talk. Sax and I have had an interesting morning energetically, and I literally texted her. I was like, "We need to fuck right now." Like literally, we need to fuck. Like right at the beginning of the podcast. No shit. And am I lying?
No,
am I
that's
wrong?
why I brought it up.
Because there's something just energetically when you get disconnected. You know, being able to reconnect through that primal reality, in my opinion, it strips away all the bullshit. Right? Like you get into this place where it's vulnerable, it's raw, it's primal, it's open, and it's like that might be all you need to just change your day, to change the energy, to reconnect, to rebond. You know, we have so many fucking stories in our heads and our culture and our society and about sex, and I truly believe that it's, you know, it can solve a lot of problems, man.
Yeah.
You know.
Also, be really open about what you want. Like, if I want Sean to do something to my body, I just tell him that's what I want. Yeah. And he does it. So, you know, these conversations become fun, and intimacy there's a lot more to intimacy than sex. And that's where the conversations, you know, like if you guys are sexting, if you're being flirty, if you're doing this, like all of these things lead to a closer connection, which will probably lead you to more sex in your life. I think that, to answer that question specifically, like start having conversations. Like we've said, like just start talking about it. I do know, I'm going to go a little hippie on this, that women, the feminine, has to be open to receive. So if you're in a place where you've been really like disconnected and rigid and, you know, like don't think that she's just gonna like blossom for you. Like I know it is what it is, but like the feminine opens to receive when it feels safe and seen and loved and honored, right? So if you're being a dick, she's not gonna want to fuck you, like, you know. So maybe also look at where am I contributing and where is the disconnect? Because if my woman is feeling loved and seen and heard and praised, odds are like she's disarmed and open, which leads to more sex. I promise you.